the woman interrupted me and said, "No, let me represent you to get it dismissed in the interest of justice." And I argued that that was obstruction.
What the hell is that? Yes, it can be obstruction. It can fall under the principle of tampering with witness. Tampering with witness on the delay.
More thing when you're dealing with these civil cases, remember it's based on a preponderance of the evidence, which means more likely than not. And so when you go in there, you can't invoke your right to remain silent because once you have a duty to speak, um, and silence is acquiescence. So in civil cases, it's a different standard of evidence. So you have a duty to speak when something involves you. So one of the best things you can do is say that I see no evidence that that's me, and from standing standpoint, you could say that all the parties to the suit aren't here because that entity is owned by the United States, and you could show where that is true too. That's a state registered entity, um, and you can also use I think it's 8 USC 8 maybe, where it's all obligations of the United States. Everything's an obligation of the United States. Anyways, I was thinking about that.
It
That's what I
depends. It
that
depends if you use that 8 US code 8, they're gonna in various area they will kick it out. I'm gonna show you why in a few seconds. In 18 US Code 8, even though it's the obligation of the United States to, that's why I try to give you clear and directive information that you guys can understand them. Not just by the look of them, just by the understanding of how they're supposed to be operate in the opposites of the law. You
so
see,
what she tried to do was she changed the word to you. She said, "This is for you." And I had learned from you, Cool Fox, that you means debtor. So that's when they tried to say that I have a photo on the system to show me, but the judge then asked the lawyer to recuse themselves because there is no photo on file with the debtor information, to piggyback on what the gentleman was saying.
okay, yeah, here's why I give you guys the understanding why I said the 18 years course. I used it a few times before, and then I overlook certain things. And one of the part that I overlook was right here, and that's exactly what they try to use to stop whatever I try to tell them. Because it so now when I understand this part right here, that's when I understand that the separation between each party when it comes to certain things. This is an obligation where they talk about is the federal government sign an agreement or the authorized officer in which signed the agreement they 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 use to do that. So since the officer authorized of the United States officer by Congress to sign and seal and stamp, then your documentation would have to have that on it. If it does not, then you are coming there with a um um what you call it, they're gonna say it doesn't have legal standing. That's the word they use. Doesn't have legal standing because whatever you're bringing is nefarious according to the them. So the
The
language is the one now that would take you out of the position of using this because of the language that they use within inside of this code. Now, what is a better code to use? It would be
She said that it was against New York City rules of civil procedure and it was frivolous.
when they use 18 years code 8.
Yeah, she said it
Yeah.
was against city codes of civil procedure.
Yeah. So yes, it's gonna be they're gonna call it frivolous. So now what application of notes, right, is a total different concept of what that it is. So any federal notes, banks, so on and so forth. You see right here now, it tell you when they want to exchange for federal notes, they can bring the draft. Now this conclude to any bank or any other personnel and so forth, right? Now, I will still not use this because you see, what you guys are not getting is it's underneath the UCC again now, but it's not underneath the UCC per se, but it's still underneath the UCC. They're trading the instruments. And since they're trading the instruments, the person have to come who are one, either the buyer or the seller. Those are the two people who have rights. So the buyer has to have the ownership. He must have the title to whatever it is, the contract, whatever it is, whatever it is. I'm just showing you this as an example, right? So since the buyer has that title, then he is the actual real party in interest. However, when you go to the 618, if you go into 15 US code 1692, you got to understand the definition of creditor here. They go in the definition. They have legislation documentation where they show